At this point, let's invite you to join me in welcoming and recognizing Sarah Snyder, our conference treasurer, and Reverend Steve Miller, our CFNA chair. We're grateful for your ministry and leadership, and Reverend Miller has a milestone of his own as he anticipates retirement after the annual conference.
Good afternoon, Bishop.
Good afternoon.
Greetings to the members of the annual conference, to all of those who are on the floor at this time, and also to those who are watching on live stream. So on behalf of the council members and our treasurer, Sarah Snyder, we are going to spend a few minutes talking about finances. Now, you can probably imagine how many times I am asked, "How's your band doing?" And in light of a couple of my songs, I think how appropriate it might be that I've spent 12 years on finance. Because it is only by the resources that we are given, the people of the conference, who are the hands and the feet and the mouths that do the work to provide the resources so we can take the money and run and fly like an eagle.
Got that. Saw what you did there. So, do we have a PowerPoint?
We
Sarah?
do.
We do. So can we bring that up, please? There we are. So we're going to talk about the financial resources, some of the results that we've seen, some of the major issues we've had, but also take a preliminary look at the 2026 budget, which you will spend time tonight, I'm sure, perusing so that we can vote on the budget on Sunday afternoon. Now, in our conference, we have rules of order. And one of those rules is personal privilege. Sarah, it's becoming a tradition now for you to take a moment of personal privilege right now. So do you want to take over right now then?
Thank you. I do just have something to share. The first year I did it, it just accidentally showed up, and then last year it kind of accidentally showed up again. But this is the one thing that brings a big smile to my face. So did we lose our PowerPoint?
Uh-oh.
There he is. So this is Ernie. He was born 2 weeks before the annual conference 2 years ago. And so he just had a newborn photo, and last year he was just 1, but now he's 2, which means that he and I get to dig in the dirt and play with construction trucks. And I enjoy that. You might see a little dirt on his legs as well as his nose, because we were having a fun time. So that's my Ernie.
So we heard from Don Kramer some of those wonderful statistics. And part of those are the apportionments that our churches share. And as you can see on the screen, 210 of our churches paid 100% of their 2024 apportionments. Yes. And I was going to bring a picture of the number of tags that hang from the wall at the Waupun church that I serve, and I'm sure many of your churches have this long row of tags that show your long-term faithfulness and generosity. So if you are one of the churches who paid your 2024 apportionments in full, those tags are available at the finance table to add to your string. One of the things that we have been working very hard on, which has caused Sarah a number of nights, of sleepless nights, has been catching up on our audits. Well, we are finally caught up on all of our audits. And that has been a major undertaking. And as the auditors always say in their report, they found no significant problems in working with our staff. So, yes, nothing significant. So, we're grateful for their work. There it is. You're looking at our 2024 budget and our gross apportionments and our net apportionments. Unfortunately, we don't always receive full apportionments. So we have to kind of fudge the numbers. Can I say that, Sarah?
I don't think
There
so.
are preferable adjectives, but that's fine.
We work with the numbers that we receive and put together a budget to do ministry. So you can see the percentages that are on there. Now, we always hope, we always plan for receiving full apportionments, but it doesn't always work out that way. But people are so generous. Churches are generous. So as you look at the next slide, you can see the donations that the church has received, by which we fund over 100 programs, $1.1 million. And some of those, as you can see, go to UMCOR and World Hunger and Poverty, U.S. Disaster Response, Bread for the World, Rooted and Rising, the annual conference in-gathering. They're still out there in the parking lot, so if you brought some things down, go ahead and donate them there. And we are grateful. We could not do what we do as a church without the generosity, the commitment, the faithfulness, the work of United Methodist and others in our Wisconsin annual conference. So thank you for that support by which we can serve the world. We get additional revenue, don't we, Sarah?
We do get additional revenue. I wanted to tell you some of the other pieces that help make up our budget this year. So we have 71 accounts at the foundation, which total about 17.3 million at last count.
How much?
17.3 million.
That's healthy.
From previous fundraisers or committees putting money away or special donations that come in. And so we're able to use this year $699,000 from those funds to help offset our budget for the particular programs. A chunk of that goes into the group health and pension plans, but it also helps fund our new ministry, the parsonages from the housing sales of parsonages years ago. We also are grateful that we received $225,000 from the East Wisconsin Pension Trust that helps fund our retiree health care program and helps fund our our health and pension staff in our department. We also, in 2024 and again in 25, are sharing our conference benefits officer with Northern Illinois, and they're now paying 50% of the benefits and salary for Cheryl. We also get grants each year from the health and benefit plans to help pay for the staffing in the finance department. And we also then have program fees, other grants, and other donations that come in. So the next one up is how our actual expenditures compared to budget. And you'll see in every one of the departments, they were under budget. So we knew that we were under our apportionment revenue coming in, and so the departments were very good about watching their money going out. The one line that you'll see down there under cash reserves, we budgeted that we would be able to use $440,000 of disaffiliation apportionment payments that were paid in 2023. We wanted to apply 440 of those into this year. The auditor said no, it all had to be recognized in 2023. So that was $440,000, but our interest income was higher than what we had budgeted due to some money that came in from the sale of buildings. So overall, our expenses were better than we had expected in all of the categories except the one where we said we could carry over money from the prior year.
Don had showed you some slides that showed a number of things which were decreasing in the statistical reports. However, one thing that's remained consistent, is the number of churches who are recognized who have paid their apportionments in full every year, and we are grateful for that. That enables us as a conference to continue our tradition of paying our general conference apportionments again at 100%. Thank you. You may remember the lawsuit which we were involved in with the Boy Scouts of America. We have paid our allocation in full. Now, I don't know if we're going to have a report today, but the trustees, Jane Doyster has been afflicted with COVID, so she is not here, but listen for a trustee report for today. We have given a number of dollars, $404,000 for ministry enrichment. There is a new community development plan in our conference called Revive, and they will be active in helping to revitalize and to revive some of our congregations and our ministries. I mentioned at the beginning that there have been significant challenges in our conference in the last year, and one of those include our transition from Church Mutual to M3. Sarah, can you talk about that a little bit?
I may have talked to just about everybody in this room in the last 6 months about insurance, either workers' compensation or property, and some of you maybe more than once or twice or 3 or 4 times. So thank you for your patience as we've been working through this transition. It was significantly more difficult than we thought it was going to be, has taken a lot more time than we thought it was going to be, and I hadn't appreciated how easy we had it with Church Mutual for 25 years. In that they billed each church, they had provided pretty good service. I didn't need to get involved much unless you had a problem, and then I could help out. Once they started non-renewing our churches, and we saw rate increases of anywhere from 25 to 75%, our trustees developed a committee to look into changing that. We decided to work with M3 as a broker, and they gathered information from our churches, went out and got bids, and we have started working with Travelers and Philadelphia, as well as a company called SFM for workers' comp. Just a second. Did you switch it already? No. We are, one of the things that I would like to do, and I've already, 2 people that came in to visit me got asked if they would like to be on a committee. So they have agreed, and I'm looking for 2 to 3 more experienced professionals that you know that have experience in property and liability to be on our committee to help us continue to look at this plan. We would like to continue to look at ways to improve it, to get the deductibles down, and to make it more affordable. M3 does have a booth out there. Please feel free to stop by and check in with them. The risk manager did a training session this morning on how you can make your churches more safe, and he will be repeating that. But they do have a handout checklist of what you can do in your building. As part of that change in insurance, the finance department took over the billing for the churches. We needed to pay 100% of our premiums up front, so we did take a loan from the foundation, just an operating loan that we will pay back as we get premiums in from our churches or as we get refunds back. We are expecting to get refunds back from the insurance company because several churches were overvalued. And you will start seeing some changes in your billing starting in July. Anything else? I don't want to ask a question. If you have any questions about insurance, you can talk to M3 while they're there, or we do have a finance table in the lobby where you can stop and ask us questions.
The United Methodist Church in Wisconsin has been headquartered at its building in Sun Prairie for as long as I've been United Methodist, and I think since 1982. It's an old building now, and it is showing some signs of wear, and it needs to have some updating and improvements. So there has been some discussion over the years over whether we should put the money into that building or relocate. So the Board of Trustees, the Conference Board of Trustees and Revive have been researching those options and are going to be bringing a plan to update, to renovate, to remodel so that this building can continue to serve us, both our needs, but also to invite new renters to help finance that building. So you'll be hearing more about that plan It's going to cost some money, and yet trustees have done their diligent research at looking at options and estimated costs and are suggesting that we do that to remodel.
We're going to skip a couple of slides here and move on to the 2026 budget for now, because our trustee is still en route to get here.
Oh, good. All right, so listen for more information on that. So Sarah, do you want to take us out as we consider the budget for 2026?
Love to. So 2026, the budget process, we're still, can I admit that as an accountant, I should love budgets, but it's actually my Achilles heel. It's the worst thing that I do. I think I'd rather take insurance questions than build a budget. Because no matter what we do, we always have somebody come back and want a little bit of change at the last minute. But the 2026 budget, we worked with the cabinet and with the CFNA, with the committees, trustees, personnel, to come up with a budget. Go to the next slide. We always need to consider to start with those numbers that are given to us. So GCFA tells us what our apportionments are going to be. That represents about 25% of our budget, the money that goes to GCFA and then goes out into the world for other missions. We also need to talk to personnel about our budgets with what our percentage increase is going to be in terms of salary. And another big area is working with the joint board to find out what their estimates are for health insurance, pension, CPP, PIP, all of those. So those are the ones that we go to next. Ask the committee what they need to do. We put that all together and then try to take a look at, with the cabinet, with the knowledge of what's going on with our churches, what can we do with apportionments? What other special money can we use from the foundation, from other grants? What can we get from East Wisconsin Pension Trust? What about the group health plan and pension plans? And with all of that, we bring together the 2026 budget, hopefully with a zero at the bottom line. So CFNA goes through this. That is our goal every time, and CFNA has worked to make that happen. So we bring that to you today, and the financial information is in your handout. I think it's page 26. The one before it. 25 through 38 of your conference materials is where all of the financial information is. The first two pages are a summary of 2024, what's going on in 25, and some information about the budget. And then it goes into a 2-page summary, and then about a 9-page detail by department. One of the things that we talk about is, what do we charge for apportionments? What is gross versus net? We know some churches are not going to pay, but what do we need to come down to? What can we charge? So we look at both of those and ask, what is an appropriate amount to allocate out to all of our churches? This year we decided that we could only increase our gross apportionments by 0.5%. So that was the little bit that we needed to get the budget there in place, but we did not want to really increase it much. We are expecting to receive 81% of those apportionments. We have gone through our foundation list of accounts, looked at some additional accounts that we could use funds from, and we're going to be using $951,000 from the foundation accounts, keeping them in where they were designated or restricted for. And then we have new renters in our building already, which is going to increase our rental income for 2026. And we are sharing our conference benefits officer with Northern Illinois. So those are some of the assumptions that we used for our income. In terms of our expenses, we've talked about using a 2% kind of across the board for DSs as well as other salary. And we will review that again before the end of the year. Medical insurance is currently assumed to increase at 9%. I think they're still working on that. Dave and Cheryl, Dave Ogden is our wonderful actuary who keeps running numbers for us to see what we can do. But we're using 9% in these budgets. We have the committees and boards that supplied their budgets. This year, our GCFA apportioned amount decreased actually by close to $51,000. But many of our commitments to our programs, new ministry, revitalization of ministries, our connections with Northcott Neighborhood, with Rooted and Rising, Harbor House, supporting Wisconsin Council of Churches, all of those remained within our budget. And once we got all those done, the budget allocation compared to last year is very much the same in terms of the percentages split between each one of the main areas. Very consistent with what we budgeted and where we ended up. I would like to thank all of our members, you probably would too, but I'd like to say a special thank you to Steve, who has kept us all on track in meetings. And you have just been a wonderful leader, and I thank you for all that you have done.
So if you love doing budgets, and you love crunching numbers, and you have a heart for how finances can do ministry, there is a place for you at the CFNA table. There's no travel involved because we do all Zoom meetings. So if the Spirit inspires you to join us in CFNA, talk to one of our members or talk to Jenny Arneson, and we'll get you going. Thank you very much for your time and your attention.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you very much.